The Nectar of Devotion by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Part 2, Transcendental Mellow, is the 20th chapter. In the second part of the Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu, people may argue, is the respect serving the spiritual master, or is it serving divinity itself? Well, when we follow the correct spiritual principles in dealing with an incarnated official of any sort, we are serving divinity, and we are doing what is right regarding that particular official. Now, when it comes to operators, particularly in the mundane world, we don't have to agree with or support in any way certain things that they are doing or believing or whatever. But how we act regarding their existence, that should be according to the spiritual regulations. Now, shouldn't it? The divisions of the Bhakti Rasamrta Sindhu can be considered as the Vibhava, the particular types of highs, as we would call them, the Anubhava, the resulting highs, the Sattvika Bhava, the conditional highs, the Vyabhachari Bhava, the particular elements of highs, and the Sathaya Bhava, the total ecstasy. Now, Rasa might be considered as the mellow, the chill, as some would call it, or one's state is totally changed over because of what's going on. Now, as far as possible, we are following in the footsteps of the disciplic succession. And let us consider in grounds of the true disciplic succession of, as far as they are right, as far as those predecessors are actually pious, authentically conveying of the teachings that we can relish in. Now, one relief that a person will find is when they have fulfilled the requirement. In the International Society of Krishna Consciousness, 16 rounds of 108 beads. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hari Hari, Hari Rama, Rama Rama, Hari Hari. And other regulations. Other traditions have their regulations. But we, as much as we can be fortunate to fulfill those conditions and not have to worry about any ill effects and have real hope for a good hereafter, we can go beyond that. The Srimad Bhagavatam in the first canto, we're reminded to start with the mention of divinity and about the activities that direct us towards mention of divinity. And by activities, I mean what the sent ones have been sent here, or were sent here, to convey to us. Now, if you act because this is what you think God will favor, then you've achieved. But you want to share this, the practice, with others, both in terms of doing these practices with them and in terms of spreading the word. Now, there's basic and impulsive experience that comes about. And this happens when we notice that divinity is manifested in the material world. These things around us remind us, and eventually we may feel the presence of divinity. And then particular references become reservoirs. That's why if you worship in a particular place over and over and over again, you do a particular thing over and over and over again, the connection to it, the buildup is there, even to the point where somebody who is unfamiliar with the life of someone can go into a room and find out this is where they prayed and read scripture. Regardless of the tradition, they can notice that. And there is differences with some traditions versus others, but there's something called the Brahma Vimohana Leela. And sometimes these sorts of Leelas and Rasas are things that don't seem religious on the outside. You know, because you see a bunch of people dancing with cows, or you see, you know, there's that talk about I'm the worshiper and the worshipped. Well, divinity isn't worshiping itself, but it's enabling the multiple sides of the dramas, right? And sometimes when one person is worshiping or whatever, other people come to watch or somehow take part. You know, I'm watching this Mystic Iran, The Unseen World film again. And this film has some of the Sufi practices of, you know, people would just be going about their work and then they'd break into ecstasy. The remembrance would continue. Maybe it would go on in different ways. But there's a wonder and an impulse that strikes you